Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, That Model Railway Guy, and welcome to another loco review. And as you can see, today we are taking a look at the brand new Bachmann J72. And wow, what a fantastic little model this is. As you can see, I've got the version in the NER lined green. I think Bachmann made the right choice on producing it in this livery. It's certainly my favourite, and I think it's going to be a very popular one. So as we're speaking about the livery, where better to start? And as you can see, to complement this lovely green colour, we've got all this lovely black and white lining that's all over the loco. It's on the side of the loco, the cab, on the splashers, even the boiler banding as well on the top there. It's really nice, it's really finely printed, it's really well done in my opinion. In addition to that, you've also got this lovely sort of little red line that runs along the buffer beam and also down onto the steps as well, which is also really nice to see. And not forgetting, we've also got the loco's number printed on the side of the cab, as well as the NER lettering, which I absolutely love, and it's really, really well done. Moving on to the buffer beam, as you can see in that same lettering, we've got the loco's number again, and also underneath it the class, which as you can see is technically an E1 because this is an earlier version of the loco before it was reclassified as a J72. Again, there's also black and white lining around the edges of the buffer beam and also on the sides impressively as well. Many of you will be pleased to know that we do have sprung buffers on this loco, as you can see there. That's not always a given, I've discovered, with Bachmann locos. Some of even their more expensive locos don't have sprung buffers, so it's really nice to see them on a little tank engine here. The smoke box door is also done really well as well, with lots of details picked out in silver there, and I love seeing the contrast of the silver against the black. It's one of my favourite things to see on locos. And of course you've got that lovely fine handrail there above it as well. As you can see, we've also got a slightly different smoke box dart than usual. I'll be honest, when I saw that in the press images that were released months and months ago, I wasn't all that keen on it. I thought it looked a bit chunky. I thought it looked a little bit odd, if I'm honest. And not to say that it's not prototypical. I'm sure that Bachmann have got it right and that's what it's supposed to look like. But it just, something looked a bit odd to me. However, seeing it here in front of me right now, I have to say it looks absolutely fantastic. All my doubts have been blown out of the water, and yeah, it doesn't look chunky at all. It actually looks really finely modelled. So yeah, there's an argument there for seeing something with your own eyes before you come to a conclusion about it. Moving on from that, just a couple of other little things I want to mention. We've got these lovely fine handrails that run down the side of the loco. They're really impressive, and there's one also on the back as well. Interestingly, the back of the loco, the top of the cab is painted black. Now, I'm going to give Bachmann the benefit of the doubt here and say that that's probably correct. It's just really interesting to see. I don't know why they wouldn't have painted it green, but yeah, it's a little bit different. It's quite nice to see. I actually quite like it. The whistle here just in front of the cab is made out of plastic, but the safety valves are actually metal, so that's really nice to see. Also, it's a little bit difficult to see inside, but the cab interior is also really well detailed as well, and there's another little surprise in there that I'll be showing you later. And finally, as if this loco didn't have enough detail already, if you look under the boiler just here in this tiny little gap, you'll actually see there's a little bit of detail there that shows some of the inside motion, which is really nice to see, and I don't think I've ever seen that on a tank engine before. So yeah, well done Bachmann for doing that. That's really cool to see. The weight of this loco is also pretty good. It's by no means the heaviest tank engine I've ever held, but saying that, it's a lot heavier than I was expecting it to be, especially considering that it's made mostly out of plastic. But yeah, I was expecting it to be a lot lighter than it is, so I was pleasantly surprised by the weight of it. So we've established that this loco looks the part, but how well does she run? Well, I've got it hooked up to a controller now, and I'm just slowly turning it up, and hopefully you will see in a second. There we go. Right, so as you can see, it doesn't really do a crawl. It just kind of kicks in at a slow speed, and it's a good slow speed, but yeah, if you're wanting this loco to do a crawl, my experience is that it won't do that. I could say that it's just this controller because it's a fairly bog standard simple controller, but that said, all my other locos, or most of my other locos, are able to do a really good crawl on this controller. So I'm more inclined to say that it's down to the loco than the controller, but you know, benefit of the doubt. But yeah, unless you're wanting it to do an absolute crawl, I think this actually is a really good runner. As you can see, the slow speed here is nice and controlled. It's fairly consistent. It's fairly quiet as well. Yeah, it's a nice little smooth runner. And if I just turn it up now, you'll see that that stays pretty much the same the faster it gets. Yeah, there's really no noise coming from the loco apart from the wheels going round. It's by no means a noisy runner, but it's not completely dead silent. You might just be able to hear a little bit of that on the microphone. So yeah, and we'll just do a little bit in reverse. It certainly feels like it's a smoother start in reverse. There you go. As you can see, it's much the same in reverse as it was going in forwards as well. But yeah, a nice sort of consistent smooth runner. If you're happy to just kind of, you know, shunt around a yard, or, you know, have this pulling some coaches or wagons or something around your layout, I think this will be perfectly fine for most people. If you're really wanting it to do an absolute, you know, slow, dead crawl, then perhaps this might not be the loco for you. But that said, this is just running on box standard DC. I imagine anyone who is serious about getting their loco to do a real crawl is probably going to be on DCC anyway. So you never know, it might work better with DCC. Just talking about DCC as well, there is actually a speaker pre-installed into this loco as well, so if you do want to fit a DCC sound chip at some point, yeah, you wouldn't have to go to all the extra trouble of then also fitting a speaker somewhere into the tiny body. So yeah, that's all done for you. That's a nice touch from Bachmann. So yeah. Okay, so we've seen that it runs fairly well on the rolling road, but now let's get it down onto the track and see how it looks running around Pickwick Yard. So as you can see, the J72, or rather the E1, looks even better when it's down on the layout, or at least it does in my opinion anyway. I still haven't been able to get it to do a really good crawl yet, but I think for the most part it handles shunting fairly well, even if the starts and stops are a little bit sudden. But that would be my only minor niggle really on an otherwise really lovely little loco. As I mentioned earlier, the J72 does have a nice feature inside the cab, which hopefully I'll be able to show you now. It's a little bit difficult to see, but this loco actually does have a firebox glow, and if I just switch it on now, yep, there you go, you can just see that little light inside the cab come on. Obviously on DC it gets brighter the faster you run the loco, and apparently if you're on DCC it actually flickers as well, but I have no way to confirm that, at least for the moment anyway. But yeah, all in all, I think this is a really nice little tank engine. I'm certainly very happy, and I'm really glad that Bachmann decided to make an updated version of this model. It really does look stunning, especially in this green livery, and as I said earlier, I imagine it will be a really good seller. So that's going to be it from me this time. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel too. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully it won't be too long before the next one.